People in Sauk County are stacking their sandbags higher today with a flooding threat worse than they've seen so far.
And it's 5 more years of the same leadership for Madison's water utility, even after the city found a $6 million deficit in its budget.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Wednesday, September 5th. We're just hearing from our crew up in Reedsburg that the rain is falling. It's unfortunately going to be another story of the day here.
No, but I guess the good news is just one more day.
One more day.
And then we get a chance to dry out. But today is an alert day for southern Wisconsin. Ongoing flooding issues will continue today with rain in the forecast. There could be another 1 to 2 inches across parts of southern Wisconsin. You can see the map in the corner. There are aerial flood warnings and flash flood watches in effect for southwestern Wisconsin. And we do see bands of rain moving through the area. Some isolated rumbles of thunder this morning. No severe weather is expected, but our main risk is rain. We definitely don't need any more rain, and that is what's in the forecast. You can see some moderate to heavy rain from the Dells stretching all the way down to Prairie du Chien at this hour. Temperatures are going to hold nearly steady today in the mid-70s. South winds this morning will shift to the north, signaling a cold front moving through the area. That front will eventually clear the region and will start to dry out tomorrow. Here's a look at your first alert traffic conditions this morning. Here in Madison, we're just dealing with the road closures in the Isthmus. No major delays right now on Stoughton Road or the Beltline at this hour. But to the north and west, too many road closures and incidents to even talk about with water on the road, closing things, bridges washed out, the like. So definitely if you run into a road that is covered with water, turn around, don't drown.
It's good advice, especially because we're seeing now on School Watch a number of schools now delayed. Prairie du Chien, Royal, and Hillsborough and Weston's now closed. We keep adding to the list this morning.
Unbelievable start to the school year.
Yeah.
And in sight, though.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember that. All right. Thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
6:02 your time now. We start this morning watching water levels in Sauk County. That's where people along the Baraboo River, from Laval to Rock Springs to Baraboo, are getting ready for another round of flooding. This one expected to be even worse than last week's.
And Highway 33 is closed this morning from Wanawalk all the way down to Reedsburg. That's a 16-mile stretch shut down due to the weather.
Schools are shut down on both ends of that closure this morning. The superintendent in Reedsburg says he'll be watching the radar today to see if he needs to cancel class again tomorrow. Our Christina Laurie is live in the pouring rain this morning along the Baraboo River, where flooding is expected to get worse. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Danica and Leah. We were supposed to be out here this morning talking to the Reedsburg school superintendent ahead of the first day of classes, but with this pouring, relentless rain pounding down overnight, as you can see behind me, the Baraboo River is rising. Classes have been canceled again for students here. The river is expected to crest 6 inches higher than last week later today. Sauk County officials are warning people in town to brace for even more water than last week, and these people are taking that warning seriously, building even higher walls than they did before. We talked to some of them yesterday who says it's sad, but they're getting really good at filling and laying sandbags. Some other closures to know about this morning. Highway 33 is closed from Reedsburg to Wanawalk, including through Laval. The village of Rock Springs is closed in all directions. Officials there are asking people to stay away altogether. Now, depending on the amount of rain we receive overnight, flooding could hit Reedsburg any time today, and it's only
All right. Unfortunately, we lost Christina there in all of that rain. We'll certainly check in with her again coming up later on in the program. In the meantime, the Montello School District has decided to not even try to have class this week. The start of school has been postponed there until next week at the earliest. The city has received about 16 inches of rainfall recently, and Highway 22 is still closed this morning. About a third of students use that road to get to school. The district hopes to be ready to share a plan with parents by tomorrow on what it plans to do to deal with the delay here and how these days are going to be made up for later on in the year.
If you're wondering how some of those districts that are closed this week because of the flooding are going to make up those hours, there is a type of framework already in place for schools to meet their class time requirements. Wisconsin Public Radio reports back in 2013, Governor Walker signed a law giving schools more flexibility to change their schedules in the event event of a natural disaster like the flooding we've seen. The law makes it so districts can choose how to make up any lost hours of instruction by adding them to the start or the end of the school day, rather than rescheduling full days of class.
The Red Cross has opened an emergency shelter in Richland Center this morning, is encouraging people as well to prepare for evacuations there. The state's also running a shelter in Boston for anyone impacted by the flooding in that community. The Department of Health and Human Services opened that shelter yesterday at Boston High School. Streets are covered with water in that community, as you can see here. Our friend Jerome, one of our viewers, taking these pictures. This is all thanks to the Decorah Lake and Lemon Wire River rising in multiple spots. The police chief in Boston tells us that while there are no mandatory evacuations in place, a lot of people living there are choosing to leave their homes because there's no power in parts of the city. Boston schools were closed yesterday, but so far the district has not announced plans to delay or shut down classes for the day.
In Middleton, the flooding is to blame for one business shutting its doors for good. 36 people are going to lose their jobs after water levels in that city forced the permanent closure of P.F. Chang's. The state's Department of Workforce Development says the restaurant closed specifically because of flood damage there. It shut down on September 1st.
Due to more rain in the forecast, there will, of course, be ongoing opportunities to help fill sandbags and places where you can donate money going directly to flood victims. You can see some of those listed on your screen there. We do have a more detailed list, though, of ways you can donate time, money, or necessary items on channel3000.com. And if you want to follow along with the radar here, Channel 3000's First Alert Weather and Traffic app has all of the updated information. I know I checked it immediately upon coming in this morning just to see where the storms were at, where they were heading. You can get that resource by downloading the app for free on any and all of your mobile devices. Just search for Channel 3000 in the App Store.
6:06 is your time now. A Reedsburg mother accused of neglect in the death of her son during a 45-day fast should be in court later today after police found a letter from her other son saying he thought he would die of hunger. Parents Titleno and Kahinde Amosbai are both facing charges after Kahinde called police to report his 15-year-old son had died. When officers got to their house, they found another 11-year-old boy who was emaciated and had to be taken to the hospital. The parents told police the family was fasting to get God's blessing before they planned to move to Atlanta. Officers say there were padlocks on all of the doors in that home. They also found a letter written by the 11-year-old son. It was addressed to lawyers in Sauk County, and it read, "I can't continue a life with no food. I'll probably die of hunger." That boy is still in the hospital this morning. Now, the father, Kahinde, appeared in court yesterday via video conference. He was given a $5,000 cash bond, the judge calling him a flight risk. Titleno's initial appearance is scheduled for today.
The man accused of crashing a semi-truck into a school bus full of middle schoolers is due back in court today. 42-year-old Wayne Murphy has an arraignment scheduled for 11 o'clock this morning in Columbia County Court. He faces 10 felony charges in connection with that crash on the interstate back in May. 20 people were hurt in that accident. The bus was on its way to a field trip. Witnesses say Murphy was driving erratically before the accident, and prosecutors accuse him of being on multiple prescription medications at the time. Murphy's been in jail on a $35,000 cash bond since he was arrested. A judge denied a request to lower that bond at a hearing last month.
The general manager of Madison's water utility has a new $150,000 contract this morning. The Cap Times reports the Common Council renewed a 5-year contract for Tom Heikkinen after a tense discussion last night. His contract was in question while the utility deals with a $6 million deficit that will likely impact your water rate here in Madison. The council voted 14-4 in favor of the contract, along with a list of conditions that Mayor Soglin set. That includes one that requires Heikkinen to report quarterly to the City Council and the Utilities Committee. All right, 6:09 your time now. Coming up, we are talking with the principals from the Middleton Cross Plains School District on a $140 million question on the ballot this fall for that city. We're going to break down what that new referendum would mean for the district and its students and families. That's coming up after the break.
And taking a look out at the downtown area of Madison this morning, you can see that sun this morning, but it might not last very long. Hattie has a look at how much rain we might see later on today and an alert day in her forecast, as well as some sunshine. Remember what that is? Sunshine? That's all still ahead on News 3 this morning.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Now, the flooding that we've been experiencing for the last almost 3 weeks is unprecedented here across southern Wisconsin. The National Weather Service releasing these images. It's pretty hard to read the numbers, but you can see a band of heavier rain setting up across parts of southern Wisconsin, especially just north of the Dells, between the Dells and La Crosse. Here's a zoomed in version of that. Again, these are rain totals going back to the 16th of August through yesterday, and some spots in our area picking up nearly 20 inches of rain. Mauston almost 19 inches, over 10 inches in the Dells, over 10 inches here in Madison, 18 inches in Montello, and about a foot or a little bit more in Viroqua. So very heavy rain over the last 3 weeks. Unfortunately, the wet weather pattern continues today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast, again with the potential for some heavy rain. Flood bulletins are in effect. This bright green shaded area is an aerial flood warning until 10 o'clock from the Dells all the way over to the Mississippi River Valley, where ongoing flooding continues. Flash flood watches in effect for the rest of southwestern Wisconsin, where we could see additional flooding later on today. Now, over the last 24 hours, here are some of the rain totals. Not a whole lot in Madison and most of Dane County. Along the state line, about 2 inches, and then again a band from Prairie du Chien to the Dells, where 3 to 5 inches of rain has fallen over the last 24 hours. And unfortunately, that's where the rain is setting up this morning. Again, from just east of Prairie du Chien up towards the Dells, we're seeing moderate to heavy rain at this hour. A few lightning strikes, but generally just rain in our area this morning. This activity is expected to continue through the day today. The moisture all the way back through Iowa and into the Central Plains. The good news, I guess, if there is any, for us today, the risk for severe weather is very low. Here's a look at precipitation potential. This is on top of what has already fallen. From Juneau and Beaver Dam all the way down to Platteville, could be a band of heavier rain, 3/4 of an inch to almost 2 inches of rain possible. The good news in the forecast, though, is that this is the last day with rain. We'll have a chance to dry out starting tomorrow. Temperatures are still dropping here in Madison. We're at 73 degrees, 72 in the Dells, 73 in Platteville. Dew points are going to stay high through the day today. They'll start to drop back later on, which signals a cold front moving through the area. Now take a look at future track. Grab the umbrella today. On and off rain showers in the forecast with temperatures in the mid-70s. Again, some of those showers and thunderstorms may produce heavy rain. The rain will stick around at least through the early evening hours, but then come to an end during the late evening overnight time frame for southern Wisconsin. Take a look at this extended forecast then. After today, looks like we are going to get a chance to dry out. We'll lose the humidity. Temperatures will be very comfortable, and we have many days with sunshine. The wild card would be the remnants of Gordon. Right now, it looks like they'll stay south of Wisconsin. Here's a look at your first alert traffic update this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Still looking at several road closures throughout the area because of flooding issues, especially along the Baraboo River, including Highway 33 between Reedsburg and Wanawalk. Make sure you check your route before you head out this morning. The Bell Line moving along well so far, though. No major issues showing up yet east or westbound. Here in Dane County, there are some roads that remain closed along the Isthmus, along with Johnson Street between Fordham and Baldwin Street. It's definitely going to make it busier in East Washington. No problems downtown yet around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume not an issue. Other main routes heading into the city are cruising along at the usual speeds with no crashes or delays. For your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you very much, Hattie. So the Middleton Cross Plains School District has grown by hundreds of students in the past few years, and administrators are preparing for even more growth in the future.
And to do that, they're hoping for some help from voters this fall, asking them to approve a referendum for more space. Steve Plank, Middleton's high school principal, and Jill Gertner, principal of Clark Street Community School, are here with us this morning to talk about that referendum. Thanks so much for joining us bright and early.
Absolutely.
Let's start. There is a lot in this referendum, but let's start specifically with the high school. Why are we trying to expand it there?
Well, Jill and I were just talking before we came in and realized that the freshmen that started with us just yesterday, by the time they graduate, our high school capacity will be over 500 students over what it is today and what we can actually handle within the school district. So the kids keep coming, that's a great thing, but it means that we just really need to have more space. We're already pretty crowded at Middleton High School, and it's just going to get more intense as the years go on.
So we're talking about $138.9 million worth of capital investments, another $4.8 million. You know, these are big numbers. Can you guys kind of, maybe, Jill, you can help with this, kind of put into perspective what that's going toward and what it would mean for your kids?
Yeah, I think one of the really exciting things at the high school is we've been talking for several years, and the district has been investing in some really innovative programming and piloting and trying out on small scale some really innovative programming to help our students be prepared for the future lives that they're going to lead. The referendum has now, and the need to build has really gotten us to be able to talk about. Let's talk about how facilities can support really innovative programming. So how can we make sure that all of our students have an opportunity to have the experience of connecting deeply with their community and having authentic learning experiences in their community?
What does that look like, though? Because, I think a lot of people would say, well, you don't need space. What does a building have to do with it? We have ideas. We can do this without that. So what would you say to those parents and those voters out there?
It's been fascinating to really look at spaces over the last year and work with our architects to talk about that, because if you've been in Middleton High School, you know it is a maze of hallways and small spaces. The innovative working experiences, the spaces that kids are going to be going into in the future don't look like our high schools do anymore. They look like spaces where kids can collaborate. They look like spaces where they can get using some of the equipment that is available to them in industry, where they can move more freely to work in different groups and to collaborate with each other and problem solve. A lot of flexible spaces. And so having the ability to change what that space looks like in the process of building is really going to accelerate some of our innovative programming.
Now, there is a lot of stuff in this referendum. Maybe the biggest option is a new elementary school. Talk a little bit about that briefly.
Yeah, there's a 7th elementary option for us that's on the west side of the school district for 525 students. And then in addition to that, there's a cafeteria ad at Park Elementary School in Cross Plains. There's some work in a kitchen at Sauk Trail Elementary School, which is right in the heart of Middleton. And then the largest by dollar amount is the high school work.
And this would make it the largest in the state, potentially, it sounds like.
Yeah.
For this round, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys both for taking some time. I know it's a busy time of year, and with the flooding, I'm sure it's even a more busy time of year, so we appreciate
What's
it.
going on? Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, your time right now is 6:19, and there's some artwork coming to the west side of Madison very soon. We're going to show you a sneak peek of the new addition to Elver Park, made by a UW-Madison graduate. That's coming up after the break.
And another wet day coming your way here in southern Wisconsin. Hattie has the details of where and when we're going to see the worst of the showers, when it might come to an end as well, when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. It is an alert day for southern Wisconsin with the potential for heavy rain continuing for the area. One more day with rain. You can see our alert day graphic updated now just within the last couple of minutes, showing the heavier band of rain shifting a little bit further to the north from Wautoma through the Dells down to Prairie du Chien, where anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible. Here in the Madison area, we could pick up between ½ an inch and 1 inch of rain. Here's a look at Doppler track this morning. A few scattered showers in Dane County, but some heavier rain between Lone Rock and the Dells this morning. This scattered rain activity is expected to continue through the afternoon right into the evening. So at the bus stop, you'll probably need the umbrella. You may need it later on as well. Temperatures will hold nearly steady in the middle 70s throughout the day. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thanks, Hattie. 6:24 your time now. Work to fix up one of the city's most popular parks might cost thousands more than Madison leaders first thought. There are plans to add a shelter and make other improvements to James Madison Park along Lake Mendota. A design firm was hired to help gather community input, and the work came in at about $18,000 above the initial contract. This is the same consultant that's helping to design the new Crazy Legs Plaza and Wingra Park's new entrance over on the near west side.
Speaking of the west side, city leaders will talk about installing a new sculpture at a popular park there. The Makeshift Festival will put a piece called Monumental in Elver Park next spring. The plans show it right in front of the Splash Park. The sculpture was created by a UW-Madison graduate. It's coming to Elver with the help of a $15,000 grant from the Madison Arts Commission. The Makeshift Festival took place last month. It featured 20 different artists from across the Midwest, and the Board of Park Commissioners will talk about this sculpture at its meeting tonight.
That same board is going to consider letting Madison Cyclocross Club host practices and sessions for beginners. The Capital Off-Road Pathfinders maintain and ride on cross-country bike paths throughout the city. The group is asking the city now for a third year-long agreement for another season. Bikers also want to use areas like Garner Park for the first time, which will cost them another $700 to cover mowing and other costs. 6:25 your time right now. We have team coverage on this alert day. Hattie is tracking the potential for more rain, and Christina Laurie is live with the latest on flooding up in Reedsburg, where kids are out of school when News 3 This Morning returns.
And what is old could be new in downtown Madison. We are talking about plans to revamp a historic building and make it into a hotel when News 3 This Morning returns. Heavy rains and flooding may be washing out pollen for now, but you know what they say, August showers bring September allergies? We'll have the details.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, the final half hour here. It is 6:29 on this Wednesday, September 5th. We have about half a dozen school districts closed for the day, a few others on delay. That updated list is scrolling at the bottom of your screen. You can also find that at channel3000.com.
This says flooding concerns continue across our area with more rain in the forecast today. Hattie is inside on this alert day where she belongs. We're watching to see where the rain is going to hit next, Hads.
Good morning, and we do have more rain in the forecast. Unfortunately, it's an alert day for the area. There is the potential for some heavy rain as we head into the afternoon. The rain should taper off this evening, but until then, it's going to be on and off showers and thunderstorms. Scattered activity across the area today. We've had a little bit of rain here in Madison so far this morning. Right now in Lone Rock up towards the Dells, that's where we see the heaviest band of rain. Moving from southwest to northeast across the area. The moisture, though, lines up all the way back into the central plains. So this is going to be a rather slow moving system, bringing rounds of showers and thunderstorms to the region today. So grab that umbrella before you head out the door. Temperatures aren't going to move too far today. Yesterday we topped at 87. Today highs will be in the mid 70s. Rain then diminishes as we head into the overnight hours, and then we'll have a dry day for tomorrow. Here's a look at your traffic maps this morning. We still have those road closures in downtown Madison. A few brake lights showing up on the Beltline near Stoughton Road, but that's about it here in the Madison area. To the north and west, it is a mess with ongoing flooding continuing from the Dells, parts of Sauk County near Reedsburg, all the way to the Mississippi River Valley. Many roads closed due to water over the roadways. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, thanks so much, Hattie.
So we have seen some incredible images from communities like North Freedom, Rock Springs, Reedsburg, where the Baraboo River is already up and it's expected to rise again today.
Reedsburg schools are trying to decide whether to shut down for the rest of the week, depending on how bad the rains are today. Our Christina Laurie is joining us on the phone. She is along the Baraboo with the latest this morning. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Leah and Danica. Strong storms and relentless rain are pounding down on us so hard here in Reedsburg. They were so strong that they actually cut our signal last half hour. We were supposed to be out here this morning to talk about the first day of school with the Reedsburg school superintendent, but with the river expected to crest 6 inches higher today than it did last week, classes have been canceled once again. Sauk County officials are now warning people in town to brace for even more water than last week, and those people are taking that warning very seriously, building even higher walls than they did before. We talked to some people yesterday who say it's sad, but they're getting really good at filling and laying sandbags. Now, some closures you should know about this morning. Highway 33 is closed from Reedsburg to Wanawalk, including through the town of Laval. The village of Rock Springs is also closed in all directions, and officials there are asking people to stay away altogether. Now, depending on the amount of rain we receive overnight, flooding could hit Reedsburg anytime today, and then it's only a matter of time before people living in towns downstream along the Baraboo River are also affected. If you'd like to help any of those people, you can just head to our website, channel3000.com. We have links to several different ways that you can help donate. But I'll send it back to you, Danica and Leah.
Christina Laurie reporting live there from Reedsburg. Thank you, Christina. So Reedsburg schools are again among about a half dozen districts closed today due to the weather. Montello won't open until next week at the earliest. Richland, Kickapoo, Wanawalk, Union, and Weston schools are all closed today as well. We are continuing to update a list of those school closures on channel3000.com.
Madison schools are already in session this week, not impacted by the flooding. And this year, there's a new strategic framework in place for students. Over the summer, the district updated its plan to focus on core values. That includes, of course, academic excellence, but it also includes closing the achievement gap here in Dane County by putting an emphasis on racial inequality and social justice. Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham says teachers will also highlight creativity this school year. For more information on that strategic framework, you can check out this story over on channel3000.com.
Students in Beloit are welcoming some new leadership this year. There's a new superintendent for the district, and Beloit Memorial High School has a new principal. Orlando Ramos says his main goal as principal is to raise the standards for students and teachers by requiring students to write 2 ACT-level essays in each of their classes. Now, Ramos also wants to keep parents in the loop as much as possible by having his teachers make 1 to 3 positive calls home each week. Ramos says he knows the new requirements might not be the favorites of the students there, but he says his main goal is to prepare those students for college.
Might be a bit of a tough time heading back to school for some folks. Ragweed allergies are peaking this month, and it's got me, lots of other folks here in our newsroom, rubbing our eyes, sneezing up a storm.
Yeah, these poor guys. We put Josh Spreiter on the case of the overwhelming allergies. He is live in the news center with what he found out and really what can we do about this, Josh? Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. Leah, I know you're right alongside me on this story. I've been sneezing all morning. I am a major allergy sufferer, especially this time of the year. But one thing I've noticed over the years is my allergies aren't as bad as they used to be. Back in my early teens and early 20s, I would be down for the count at this time because of ragweed. I found out from Dr. Ashley Olson at SSM Health that is pretty common.
Our bodies are weird in that we can develop allergies really at any point. Usually allergies begin in childhood and they peak when you're in your teens or early 20s. And then as we get older, we actually lose part of our immune system. And with that, we start to lose our allergies.
Another pollen count that is high right now is outdoor mold. This mold is actually different from the toxic stuff because it grows in brush on the ground or crops in the field. We've actually seen more mold growth this year due to all of the heavy rain and flooding. It has the same kind of symptoms as the ragweed. There are some ways to help those allergies. Doctors say to always take your shoes off, wash your clothes, and take frequent showers if you spend time outside. Also keep your doors and windows closed. And if those strategies and over-the-counter meds don't work, you should see a specialist right away to help you out. Leah, I think we need some help, big time.
I'm pretty impressed that I've gone 2.5 hours now and haven't sneezed on air.
I'm lucky too. I've been sneezing over at my desk. I've got the Kleenex on standby.
All right.
Leah might be over to borrow some of that soon.
We'll talk later. Josh Spreiter reporting for us this morning. Thanks, Josh.
6:35 right now, and tonight the city's Urban Design Commission will hear from a company that wants to redevelop the old Madison College building downtown and make it into a hotel. They want to transform the existing historic building into a 195-room Drury Plaza hotel. Now, the developers also want to build an addition that would include 115 more rooms, retail space, and a restaurant. They're also proposing renovating that historic arch right over on Wisconsin Avenue.
That same commission is going to talk about some new student housing over on the UW campus. Developers would like to put in a 12-story building on the corner of North Charter and West Johnson Streets. That's right across from the psychology building on campus, about a block east of Union South. Tonight, developers will give an informational presentation on their proposal for that space. They're hoping to start construction in spring of 2019 and have everything up and running about a year later.
6:36 right now, and hundreds of Miller Coors employees will be looking for work in 8 weeks. We will tell you how that could affect people here in Wisconsin in the morning sprint.
And we're about to see a new type of traffic jam on the roads now that summer's winding down. A reminder from your local farmers as they hit harvest time. That's when News 3 This Morning returns.
Welcome back. It is 20 to 7 on this Wednesday morning, and we always ask you to share your morning with us. It's worth reminding everyone that after this rain, we'll probably see a lot more of this here. This is from Julie Hogue, our friend who joins us on Facebook Live quite a bit. She posted this one, and I'm going to take a wild guess here thanks to Hattie and say that these are spirina? I wrote it down somewhere and in my mountain of notes have lost it, but it's a beautiful flower nonetheless.
Whatever they are, exactly what we need to see on this rainy Wednesday morning. Now, if you would like to share a picture, post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page, maybe on Twitter. Use your hashtag MyNews3Morning. Danica and I love to share our favorites right here on the program.
So a reminder from the Wisconsin Farm Bureau this morning, as we're starting the fall harvest season, drivers should be prepared to share the roads with farmers and their equipment. It is illegal to pass in front of tractors or other slow-moving machinery in a no-passing zone. According to the state DOT, 18 people were killed and more than 600 were injured from crashes involving agricultural equipment here in Wisconsin between 2011 and 2017.
AAA says more than a third of Wisconsin people don't have life insurance. The organization says while most folks don't want to think about death, it only takes one accident or a terminal illness to leave your family in financial trouble. A common misconception is that life insurance costs too much, but AAA says lots of people overestimate that price. $100,000 of coverage could be less than $1 a day for someone in decent health. For more information, you can go to AAA.com/life. 6:41 your time now. We have one more alert day, then finally a break. We are waking up to some clouds, a little bit of rain this morning, but you're going to want to stick around for Hattie's forecast. It has a gorgeous week of sun and dry weather, badly needed for us here in southern Wisconsin.
A little cloudy, though, out near the Capitol this morning. That dry weather, though, quite the present for 3-year-old Harrison here. We want to say happy birthday to him and all the other kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for letting us help celebrate here on News 3 this morning.
Good morning. Our forecast for today does call for the potential for heavy rain across southern Wisconsin. It is possible today. There will be a stretch of dry weather, though, coming through the weekend. And the only wild card in the upcoming forecast will be the remnants of Gordon. Right now, the latest forecasts are keeping that south of Wisconsin. We'll have to see over the coming days. Here is the latest on that storm. Tropical Storm Gordon came ashore yesterday in the eastern parts of Mississippi, now right over Jackson as we speak. Movement still to the northwest around 14 miles an hour. It is expected to weaken rapidly now that it's over land, but it's still going to be a big rainmaker. Movement is going to slow down some over the coming days as well, so flooding is a concern for this storm. You can see as we go through the day today into Thursday midday, the storm making a little progress into Arkansas, gusting to 40 miles an hour, but winds at 30 miles an hour still expected. It will continue to weaken into a remnant low and gradually shift off to the north and east. Now, this cone of uncertainty still fits into southern Wisconsin, so there is the potential. There are still a few question marks, but the latest forecasts are really, most of them eyeing in on a more southerly track with this storm. Just one model keeping that more northerly track. So we'll fine tune that forecast over the coming days. It looks like it may be good news for southern Wisconsin. We definitely don't need any more rain. An alert day is in the forecast for today. Another couple of inches of rain is possible. Pretty widespread 1/2 to 1 inch totals, but there could be a band setting up from the Dells all the way down to Prairie du Chien, exactly where we don't need any additional rain, and that band could be 1 to 2 inches. Here's a look at our flood bulletins that are in effect. An aerial flood warning in effect until 10 o'clock. This is for ongoing flooding from the Dells all the way over to the Mississippi River Valley. Southwestern Wisconsin also under a flash flood watch for additional flooding that may develop due to the rain today. Here's a look at Doppler track this morning. We see mainly rain activity, a few isolated rumbles of thunder, but scattered showers are expected to continue through the day today. In fact, take a look at the rain activity all the way down to the central plains. That plume of moisture will continue to move into southern Wisconsin. Luckily, though, the risk for severe weather is pretty low here across southern Wisconsin. Now, this cold front will gradually move through the area. As it clears, we'll still expect some rain through the evening, but Canadian high pressure building in then for tomorrow and the rest of the week. And it looks like that area's high pressure is going to be strong enough to really keep the moisture from Gordon to our south right through the upcoming weekend. So a great chance to dry out. Temperatures are in the 70s here, noticeably cooler to the north, and that's where we're trending over the next couple of days. 73 here in Madison. Dew points are in the 70s as well, so it remains very humid. Take a look at your future track forecast model today. On and off showers and even a few isolated rumbles of thunder. Some heavy rain is possible. The rain will continue through the evening, but come to an end overnight. Clearing is expected for tomorrow. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. A nice stretch of weather coming up through the weekend into the start of next week. Humidity should stay pretty low. It'll be very comfortable, and more importantly, we'll string together several days, giving us a chance to dry out.
No.
Here's a look at our pet walk forecast. Declan and Mocha?
Yes.
I hope I'm saying that right. Mocha and Broadhead look like they're best buds.
One more day, you two.
Yeah,
one more day for the
play.
pet walk. All right. Thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Keep the smiles going. The morning sprint's coming up next on News 3 this morning. 6:51 time now for the morning sprint. Eddie has one more alert day to get through before a stretch of dry weather.
All this rain and flooding we've seen is a problem for allergy sufferers. Josh Spreiter has more on that. But we start in Sauk County, where the Baraboo River is expected to crest 6 inches higher today. People in Reedsburg spent their Tuesday night filling and laying sandbags for the second time in a week, waiting for what's expected to be the worst of the flooding so far. Reedsburg schools are closed today. Officials there will make a decision on when they can start their school year, depending on the forecast.
So along with Reedsburg, there are about half a dozen school districts closed for the day. Montello isn't opening until next week at the earliest. Administrators there are trying to get a plan together to share with parents by Thursday. Richland and Kickapoo schools, along with Wanawak and Weston schools, that is, are closed for today as of this morning. You can find an updated list of those closures scrolling at the bottom of your screen and on channel3000.com.
The Red Cross has an emergency shelter set up in Richland Center this morning. Volunteers there are asking people to get ready for possible evacuations. There's another shelter over at the Madison High School as well. Streets there are covered with water, where nearby lakes and rivers are still rising today. There aren't any mandatory evacuations at this point, but some folks are choosing to leave on their own in Madison because there are no power in parts of that city.
A Monona man is set to go to trial in February on charges he tried to abduct 2 UW-Madison students last fall. 31-year-old Coleman Chung pleaded not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. He faces 9 felonies for allegedly trying to kidnap 2 women on campus. Police say he duct taped one of the victim's wrists, hit her over the head with a hatchet, and tried to get her into the trunk of his car. Chung is in the Dane County Jail this morning on a $50,000 bond.
And we do have flash flood watches in effect for parts of the area today. Rain continues this morning for southern Wisconsin. We've already seen some showers move through the Madison area. Scattered shower activity is expected for the entire region today. Here's a look. Today is an alert day for the area. Total rain could be pretty heavy in a band through our northwestern viewing area. 1 to 2 inches of rain will be possible. And that's your first alert forecast.
Like me, allergies have been brutal lately, and doctors are seeing more patients complaining about them right now. Allergy specialists tell me we're experiencing an uptick in ragweed pollen. Experts say September is typically ragweed's peak. We're also seeing a high count of outdoor mold because of all of the rain and flooding this summer. They say it's important to take your shoes off, change your clothes, and take a shower before bed so you're not tracking pollen into your home. Also keep doors and windows closed. If those strategies and over-the-counter meds don't work, you should see a specialist right away to help you out.
Thank you, Josh. A new study is showing that more than 1 billion people do not move enough and are therefore more at risk of things like diabetes, heart disease, dementia, and cancer. That study is showing nearly 1 in 3 women around the world and 1 in 4 men did not get enough exercise in 2016. That activity level dropped 5% in high-income countries like the U.S. compared to 2001.
Miller Coors workers in Milwaukee might be looking for new jobs as the company gets ready to restructure. The Journal Sentinel reports 350 salaried jobs across the country are in jeopardy because of low sales. It's not clear how many of the 1,400 Milwaukee jobs might be cut. Those cuts are expected to happen over the next 2 months.
Overnight, Madison's Common Council approved a 5-year contract extension for the head of the water utility, despite that utility facing a $6 million deficit. The State Journal reports Tom Heikkinen will make more than $150,000 a year under that new agreement. The utility is in the process of getting a loan from the city in order to pay its bills. Along with that, the utility will have to report finances every quarter under the terms of Heikkinen's new contract.
You will not be seeing a wheel tax here in Madison quite yet. Common Council rejected the idea at its meeting last night. That fee was expected to bring in $3.3 million a year. Drivers do still have to pay $28 for a Dane County vehicle registration fee and $75 to the state.
The city's Urban Design Commission will hear from a company today that wants to redevelop the old Madison College building off the Capitol Square and make it a hotel. The plan is to transform the existing building into a 195-room Drury Plaza hotel, build an addition, and restore that historic arch over on Washington Avenue.
As UW-Madison students start classes this week, the university is working to make campus a more welcoming environment for all students and faculty. The university says it added a new staff member to the Dean of Students office, focused on addressing bias incidents in the classroom. UW says it's also expanding ethnic studies programs on campus.
6:56 right now. A number of roads still closed this morning due to flooding. More on the way. Let's check in with Josh Tim with your first alert traffic.
Yeah, disabled vehicle on the westbound Beltline near Fish Hatchery Road, along with increasing volume causing some delays now from Stoughton Road to Todd Drive, adding 5 to 10 minutes extra to your drive time. Inbound John Olin, you're tapping the brakes at Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive with a few minute delay into the downtown area. Still many roads closed because of flooding in the area. Just make sure you check your route before you head out. Northbound Verona Road, you're picking up heading into Madison, and the interstate is moving along so far. No crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
We're seeing a little bit of sunshine here at the station, but clouds will be the rule today, as well as some showers and thunderstorms. So grab that umbrella before you head out the door. On and off showers and thunderstorms are expected. We're seeing some of that activity on the radar map already this morning. Your day planner temperatures looks like will stay nearly steady in the mid-70s through the day, with chances for rain right into the evening. Today is an alert day due to the potential for flooding with additional rain. After that, we do get a chance to dry out with more comfortable conditions.
Looking forward to that sun.
Yeah, definitely. Stay safe, though. Stay dry. Download that Channel 3000 weather and traffic app for the latest on the radar. We'll see you tomorrow.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.